Like I said in my review for Batman v Superman, link in the description, you can click right here to see parts 1, and 2 is coming later. We're doing Civil War month. So like the title of the video says, we're reviewing Captain America, the First Avenger. Let's get into it. It starts off with an expedition team in Antarctica when they stumble across a giant crashed ship. They look inside and find a certain someone's patriarch's shield. Then it cuts to 1943 where two people are talking about hiding something. Then the bad guy busts through the door and digs up an ancient tomb with the body inside gripping a glass-looking cube. We find out that the cube is called the Tesseract and it holds ungodly powers. So the villain crushes it on the floor. Good plan, that was actually the Tesseract, you dumbass. So he finds a secret compartment in the wall of the tomb where they find the real Tesseract. It then cuts to Steve Rogers, who's applying for the US Army, but there's one problem. He's skinny as we find out that he's been trying to get into several armies for a while now, and he goes to watch a movie in the movie theater while some douchebag's yelling at the screen while an advertisement for helping out the army plays. Steve gets his ass handed to him, and luckily his friend Bucky Barnes steps in to beat the shit out of the guy in the movie theater. They then decide to go on a double beta technology convention of all places, where they see Howard Stark showing off his new flying car. Steve Rogers walks past an enlistment office and decides to try to join that army again. He decides to take a new drug for the Weapon X program, SHIELD super soldier program that would enhance his muscles, senses, speed, and agility. He then gets accepted into the army, then begins training. Because he's the smallest soldier there, he gets picked on by the other soldiers. Even the general, played by Tommy Lee Jones, is doubting the super soldier experiment. When the day comes where the experiment is going to be conducted, he's escorted by Peggy Carter, and they have a really cringe-worthy conversation about him talking to women and the places he's gotten his ass beat. When they arrive, they strap Steve to a table and give him a super soldier drug. They then close the pod around him, some flashy lights happen, and the pod opens up and he's fucking jacked. Before they can celebrate, a Nazi spy comes in and steals one of the bottles of serum. Good thing they made 7 bottles per box, and the experiment only needs 6, so Steve chases him and stumbles around while running after him. There's some shots that really give off a Spider-Man 2002 vibe. He catches the spy, and the spy cracks the cyanide tooth to avoid being interrogated, and he says, "Hail Hydra." Now that SHIELD knows how powerful Steve Rogers is, what do they do with him? The most logical thing, of course. They make him entertain troops as Captain America. Smart move there, SHIELD. I have to say this is probably the most creative part of the movie. They have a montage with real Captain America comics and serials, but Steve Rogers isn't having any of it because he wants to fight and battle. He finds out that Bucky Barnes is being held in a prison camp. Captain America rescues him, and he's finally a real captain now fighting with the US. They give him a new suit and a vibranium shield. The part that most people don't like about this movie is the montage of action scenes. Not that they weren't good, we just wanted a solid action set piece for Captain America in the middle of the movie. Captain America and the Howling Commandos are on a mission to capture one of SHIELD's top scientists. They zipline down the moving train and get inside. They fight the guards, but one of the walls is blown open, and Bucky is hanging off the side of the train. Cap tries to catch him, but he falls to his death. The scientist they capture tells the general that Red Skull is planning to bomb a bunch of cities using a big-ass plane with a bunch of smaller half-plane, half-bombs attached to it. Captain America breaks into the facility and gets captured. That was easy. When he's interrogated by Red Skull, the Howling Commandos come in through the window, and Red Skull runs to the plane and gets in it and leaves. With some help from Peggy Carter and Tommy Lee Jones, he gets on the plane before it takes off. He fights some of the guards and stops one of the pilots who's trying to bomb New York. He fights Red Skull and knocks over the Tesseract. Red Skull picks it up, and we aren't sure whether he's dead or he got teleported to Asgard. Cap gets on a radio with Peggy Carter because the Tesseract was the only energy source for the plane. He tells her that he has to crash the plane, but why doesn't he just get in one of those bomb things? Earlier, he landed one of those things safely back into the plane, so I don't get why he doesn't just point to the other big plane, so a safe place. Anyway, he crashes the plane and wakes up 70 years earlier in present-day New York. And after the credits, there's a literal trailer for the new Avengers movie. Well, new by 2011 standards. Overall, this movie's pretty good. It's really creative in how they portray the 1940s. Obviously, they couldn't be too accurate or Cap would come off as racist, which wouldn't be a good trait for the Avengers, especially because it's run by a black guy. This movie is solid for setting up some of the better Marvel movies and definitely gets a B-. Please like, favorite, and share, and if you haven't subscribed, and if you didn't like this, fuck off.